Here's a question that sounds simple, but I want you to actually sit with it for a second. If I gave you a dataset right now, any dataset, doesn't matter what it's about, and asked you, is this data biased? But how would you even check? Most people assume bias means someone messed with the numbers, cooked the books, cherry-picked results. But the scary part, the part almost nobody talks about, is that a dataset can be biased, even when every single number in it is completely perfectly true. Let me show you how. During World War II, the military had a problem. Planes were coming back from combat covered in bullet holes, and they needed to know where to add armor. So they studied the returning planes, mapped out where the bullet holes clustered. Mostly the wings, the tail, the body. And the obvious answer was, reinforce those areas. Except a statistician named Abraham Wald looked at the same data and said, no, do the opposite. Because here's the thing, that data only came from planes that survived, the bullet holes that actually mattered. The ones in the engine, the cockpit. Those planes never made it back to be studied. The data wasn't lying. Every bullet hole they measured was real, but the data set itself was invisible in exactly the places that mattered most. This has a name now, survivorship bias. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And here's why this isn't just a cute World War II story. This exact blind spot is sitting inside data right now, shaping decisions that affect real people. A few years ago, a major tech company built an AI tool to screen job resumes, trained it on 10 years of hiring data. Real applicants, real outcomes, real hires. The model quietly started penalizing resumes that included the word women's, as in women's chess club or women's soccer team. Nobody told it to do that, nobody wrote that rule, it learned it because the historical hiring data it trained on reflected a decade of human bias already baked into who got hired. The dataset wasn't fabricated, it was real, accurate history. That's what makes this so uncomfortable. The data was telling the truth. It's just that the truth itself was already unfair and the model faithfully learned to repeat it. Here's a smaller, sneakier version of the same idea, and you've probably fallen for it without realizing. Ever seen a survey that says something like 73% of people prefer X? The question you should always ask is 73% of who? Because online surveys, app reviews, phone polls, they don't just randomly sample humanity. They sample whoever happened to be reachable, willing, and awake at that moment. People with strong opinions, good or bad, are wildly overrepresented. People who are busy, disengaged, or don't have internet access just vanish from the dataset entirely. The data isn't fake, it's just describing a population that doesn't actually exist. A population of people who respond to surveys, dressed up to look like everyone. And if you think this is just a hiring problem or a survey problem, it isn't. This same blind spot shows up in almost every industry that touches data, right now, today. In healthcare, diagnostic AI models, trained mostly on data from one demographic, have repeatedly performed worse at detecting conditions in patients outside that group. Not because anyone designed it that way, but because the training data simply had fewer of those patients to learn from. The missing patients become the missing accuracy. Loan approval models are often trained on decades of past lending decisions. But if certain neighborhoods were historically denied loans more often, for reasons that had nothing to do with creditworthiness, the model learns that pattern as if it were a fact about risk instead of a fact about history. Bias doesn't usually come from bad data, it comes from missing data. The stuff that never made it into the dataset in the first place because it was never collected, never survived, or never got a voice. And the dangerous part is a biased dataset almost never announces itself. It looks complete, it looks objective, it has decimal points and confidence intervals and everything that makes it feel scientific. So next time someone shows you a chart, a study, the data says headline, the most powerful question you can ask isn't, is this data accurate? It's, whose data is missing from this? If this kind of thing messes with your brain a little, good. That's the whole point of this channel. New videos dropping soon where we go hunting for the stuff hiding underneath the numbers. See you in the next one.